I am Amara Solade, 29 years old, a billionaire tech CEO, but on that afternoon I was just a woman standing under shameless Port Harcourt rain. The rain came suddenly, the way coastal rain often does. One moment, the sky was simply gray. The next, it opened up like a broken bucket, pouring water on everything and everyone. People scattered under sheds and kiosks, clutching their bags and heads, running for cover. On the side of the road, right in front of a small primary school, a black luxury car stood with its bonnet raised. Steam rose from the engine, mixing with the rain. Beside the car, a woman stood in silence. Her straight hair was now wet and clinging to her cheeks. Her white shirt, tucked neatly into a fitted black skirt, was soaked. Expensive heels stood in dirty water. But her face did not show panic. She only stared at the engine as the rain slammed against her. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and tell us in the comments where you are watching from as you enjoy this story of love, healing, and unexpected kindness. The woman's name was Amara Solade, 29 years old, billionaire, CEO of a massive tech company. Everyone in Port Harcourt knew, but in that moment, she was just a woman stranded in the rain. Her phone battery had died 10 minutes earlier. Her driver had been dismissed for the day because she told him she wanted to drive alone and think. The car had decided to break down right as the clouds grew dark. She looked around. People recognized her face. A few students whispered her name, pointing at her from under the school gate roof. See, that's that tech billionaire. Yes, I saw her in one advert. But nobody came close. People respected her. Yes. Feared her. Yes. But nobody reached for her. Not as a human being. She swallowed and told herself she was used to it. Inside the compound of Golden Path Primary School, the final bell had just rung. Children were running out with bags bouncing on their backs. Some jumped into tricycles, some into old cars, some grabbed the hands of their parents. Among them was a little girl in a pink backpack with 2 rough puffs of hair and a smile that looked glued to her face. "Daddy, look," she said, tugging at the hand of the man beside her. "That auntie is under the rain." The man looked up. He was tall, not too muscular, but strong-looking, wearing a simple blue shirt and black trousers that had faded from too much washing. He carried a black backpack that looked heavy and worn. His name was Darius Okafor, 35 years old, a struggling graphic designer and a single father. He followed his daughter's finger and saw the woman by the car. He didn't know who she was. He only saw someone getting beaten by the rain. Without thinking too much, he reached into his bag and pulled out a folded umbrella. "Wait here, Nia," he said. He walked quickly toward her, rain hitting his shoulders, soaking his shirt. Amara saw him from the corner of her eye and straightened a little, her usual wall rising inside her. When people approached, it normally meant they wanted something. "Good evening, Ma," he said gently, voice calm even under the roaring rain. "You will catch cold like this. Please take this umbrella." She stared at the black umbrella in his hand. A simple thing, nothing special, yet something in her chest tightened. You don't need to." "I'm fine," she replied in her usual firm tone. "You're not," he said softly but respectfully. "Please just hold it till the rain calms. I still have my daughter's raincoat for the 2 of us." She hesitated. He didn't look nervous. He didn't look impressed by her clothes or the car. He looked sincere, like he would have done the same for anybody. Slowly, she took the umbrella from him. "Thank you," she murmured. He nodded and gave a small smile that almost warmed through the cold on her skin. "My name is Darius," he said. "That's my daughter, Nia." He pointed back toward the little girl under the school corridor. The child waved excitedly at Amara. Amara raised her hand slowly and waved back, feeling strange. "If you don't mind," Darius continued, "you can come and stay under the corridor roof with us while you wait for help. The rain is heavy today." She looked at her car, at the road, at the sky. She had no driver, no working phone, and nowhere else nearby to hide from the rain. She nodded. "All right." They walked together to the school corridor. The roof was old, but strong enough to block the rain. Water dripped from the edges in long lines, making small rivers in the sand. Nia's eyes lit up when they reached her. "Auntie, you are wet," she said, covering her mouth dramatically. "You can sit here." She slid aside on the low concrete ledge, making space beside her. Amara sat quietly. She wasn't sure what to do with her hands, with her face, with this little girl's kindness. She was more comfortable in boardrooms than in ordinary moments like this. "What's your name, Auntie?" Nia asked. "Amara," she replied. "Amara," Nia repeated slowly, then smiled. "It's a princess name." Darius chuckled. You and Princess Nia. Amara felt something tug at her lips, a small shy smile. They stayed there, the three of them listening to the rain. Children ran past, some glancing at Amara with curiosity. A few parents stared, recognizing her, whispering. Darius didn't stare. Nia didn't whisper. They treated her like a person, not a headline. How was your day? Darius asked casually, like they were old friends. Normally when people asked that, it was just politeness, but his question sounded honest, like he really wanted to know. She almost gave the usual empty answer. Busy. Fine. Same as always. But when she opened her mouth, something else came out. Exhausting, she said quietly. Very exhausting. He nodded like he understood. I feel you. I had 3 clients cancel on me today. No money, but plenty of stress. He laughed softly. She looked at him with surprise. He wasn't trying to impress her. He was just telling his truth. Nia swung her feet and looked up at Amara. My day was fun. We drew pictures. Daddy's own was the best, but I told my teacher mine was the best because he's shy. I'm not shy, Darius protested. But it was not serious. Amara actually laughed. Really laughed, and the sound surprised her, under that small school roof with a simple umbrella resting closed beside her. Something in her heart moved for the first time in a long time. Outside she was a billionaire. Here she was simply Amara. And this was the moment a single simple act of kindness began to fix something broken inside her. The next morning, Amara sat in her giant office, but her mind was somewhere else. Her office looked like something from a magazine. Glass walls, polished floors, expensive art, a view of the Coral Bay district that people would pay anything to have. Her employees walked past her door with straight backs and guarded faces. Nobody ever entered unless they had an appointment. Her personal assistant, Tommy, entered with a tablet in hand. Good morning, Ma. You have a call with the investors in New York by 10 a.m., a product demo at 12, and the lawyer wants to discuss the new partnership contract. Amara nodded, eyes fixed on her laptop, but seeing nothing. Should I bring your coffee? Tommy asked carefully. Yes, black, no sugar, Amara replied automatically. Tommy left, and the silence returned. Her thoughts drifted back to the rain, to the little corridor, to the sound of Nia's laughter, to Darius's calm voice, the way he treated her like a normal person. She remembered the moment she got home the night before. Her mansion had been cold and quiet, lights controlled by sensors, art pieces carefully placed by an interior designer, everything perfect, everything empty. She had dropped her bag on the marble console table and noticed something inside. The umbrella. She had forgotten to give it back. She picked it up and held it in both hands, staring at it like it was some kind of strange treasure. It was simple, cheap, almost ordinary. Yet when she held it, she didn't feel as alone. And then she had done something crazy. She told her driver in the morning, take the route that passes by Golden Path Primary School. Now sitting in her office, she shook her head at herself. What am I even doing? She thought. The intercom buzzed. Ma, your coffee. When Tommy came in, she placed the mug on the table and paused. Ma'am, if you don't mind me saying, you look different today. Different how? Amara asked. Not as stiff. Tommy looked nervous, like she had gone too far. Stiff? Amara raised an eyebrow. I mean, you seem softer, lighter. Are you okay? Amara almost smiled. Almost. I'm fine, she said. Thank you. When it was time for her driver to take her home that evening, she didn't go straight to the mansion. She cleared her throat and said, pass through the school road again. The driver glanced at her in the mirror, but did not comment. He simply obeyed. They turned onto the busy street, just as children were being picked up. She saw the small gate, the sign Golden Path Primary School, the dusty compound, the laughing children. And then she saw them. Nia with her pink backpack skipping near the gate. Darius standing with his hands in his pockets, talking to another parent. Her heart started beating too fast for no good reason. Stop, she said sharply. The car pulled to the side. She took a deep breath, grabbed the umbrella from the seat beside her, and stepped out. It was not raining this time, but she still held the umbrella like a bridge between two worlds. Nia spotted her first. Auntie Amara, she shouted happily, running toward her. You came back. The joy in the girl's voice hit Amara like sunlight. Darius turned, surprise crossing his face. Then he smiled that same quiet, gentle smile. Good evening, he greeted. You didn't get trapped in the rain today, I hope. Not today, she replied. And for some reason, there was laughter in her voice. I came to return this. She held out the umbrella. He took it slowly. Their fingers brushed for half a second, and Amara felt a strange warmth shoot through her hand. "Thank you," he said. "You're welcome," she replied. There was a small silence, not awkward, just present. Then Nia broke it. "Auntie, do you want to see the drawing I did today?" The little girl bounced excitedly. "Yes," Amara said without thinking. "I'd love to." Minutes turned into half an hour. They sat on a low bench near the school wall while Nia displayed her drawings. Stick figures, uneven houses, a big sun with a smiling face. One of the pages made Amara pause. It was a drawing of 3 people holding hands under a tiny roof with slanted lines showing rain on top. Nia had written in messy letters, "Rain Day Friends." "Is this?" Amara began. "That's you, Daddy, and me," Nia said proudly. "The day we met you under the rain. It was my best day this week." Best day. For Nia, it was a nice memory. For Amara, it had been a lifeline. She swallowed. "You're very talented," she said to the girl. "Daddy is more talented," Nia said confidently. "He draws for work, but sometimes people don't pay him. I told him one day he will draw for kings and queens." "Ah, this girl will finish me with hype," Darius said, shaking his head and laughing. "What do you draw?" Amara asked, genuinely curious. "Logos, flyers, some book covers, anything they pay me for," he answered simply. "It's not easy, but God has been faithful." Nia eats. "We manage." She heard the unspoken truth. "We are struggling, but we are together." She thought of her own childhood. Silent halls, busy parents, yearly gifts from people who didn't hug her, nannies that changed like seasons, and the cold heaviness of being rich but not loved. "Do you have a studio?" she asked. He laughed like it was a funny joke. "This is my studio," he said, patting his worn backpack. "Anywhere my laptop and sketchbook are, that is my office." The sun was already sliding low. The street grew quieter. Amara's driver stepped out and cleared his throat gently. "Madam, should we go?" She nodded slowly, then looked at Darius and Nia. "I enjoyed this," she said quietly. Darius's eyes softened. "You're welcome anytime. We are always here around this time, except on days I get lucky and a client calls me for a meeting." Nia grabbed Amara's fingers suddenly. "Auntie, will you come again tomorrow?" The question squeezed something inside her chest. She had board meetings. She had calls. She had deals to close. Yet the first word that came out of her mouth was, "Yes." Nia squealed and hugged her waist. As Amara sat back in her car, watching Darius walk away holding his daughter's hand, she realized something painful and beautiful. This man had nothing the world counted as big. No mansion, no driver, no millions in the bank. But he had something her money had never bought, peace. And for the first time, she wanted to learn how to have it too. Over the next few weeks, something strange began to happen. Amara's driver became used to making an unplanned stop near Golden Path Primary School. At first, he didn't ask questions, but as the pattern continued, he started to suspect there was more here than just returning an umbrella. One Wednesday, after a long day filled with loud voices in the boardroom and cold emails from investors, Amara sat in the back of her car, exhausted. Her head hurt. Her chest felt tight. The numbers on her screen wouldn't stop dancing in her mind. As they approached the familiar street, she tapped the glass. "Slow down." She looked out and saw them. Darius sitting on the low ledge, legs stretched out, sketchbook balancing on his lap. Nia sitting beside him, eating puff-puff from a nylon bag and humming some small tune. Without thinking, she said, "Stop here." She stepped out of the car, telling the driver, "Give me 30 minutes." He nodded, hiding his surprise. "Auntie Amara." Nia shouted as soon as she saw her. "You came again?" "Yes," Amara said, unable to stop the small smile. "I needed to rest my head." "You can rest it here," Nia said, patting the space beside her. "Daddy says this place is our thinking corner." Amara sat down. For a moment, she just breathed. No glass walls, no big screens, no serious faces, just a dusty street, children's laughter in the distance, and the smell of fried snacks from a nearby kiosk. "What are you drawing today?" she asked. "A logo for one small bakery," he answered, eyes focused on his lines. "They want something that looks big, but they don't want to pay big money." He grinned. She watched his hand move steady. There was gentleness in his work, even in the way he shaded small parts. "Let me see," she said. He tilted the sketchbook. The design was simple but smart, a loaf and a flame shaped into a crown. She nodded slowly. "You're good." "Thank you," he said. "I try." "What software do you use?" she asked, the tech CEO inside her peeking out. Sometimes illustrator. Sometimes I just survive with free tools until I can renew my license, he replied with a small shrug. Nigeria is hard. Do you design alone? She asked. Yes, it's just me and my laptop. And Nia's loud encouragement. He smiled. Nia puffed her chest. I'm his manager. They all laughed. Then something happened that shook Amara more than any boardroom problem. Nia looked at her with serious eyes and asked, Auntie, do you have a family? The question hit her like a physical blow. She froze. Yes, she said slowly, then corrected herself. No, I mean my parents live abroad. We don't really talk. Why? Nia asked, curious, not rude. Amara stared at the dusty ground. They were always busy, she said quietly. They loved their work, trips, events. I grew up with people paid to watch me. I learned early how to be alone. Darius looked at her, his eyes soft and sad. Is that why you work so much now? He asked quietly. To prove something to them? She did not answer immediately. I don't know, she whispered. Maybe. Or maybe it's because work is the only place I know I'm needed. That last word hung in the air. Needed. Nia, in her innocent way, reached out and took Amara's hand. We need you here, too, she said. You make Daddy laugh different. The words went straight to Amara's heart. She felt a prickling behind her eyes and looked away quickly. Thank you, she whispered. They spent many afternoons like that, talking about nothing and everything. Darius told her stories about his late wife, how she died when Nia was 3, and how he had fallen apart, then forced himself to stand up because his daughter needed him. I wanted to give up, he confessed one evening, their faces lit by the orange sky. But one night, Nia woke up from sleep, held my face, and said, Daddy, please don't disappear. She was just 3. That small sentence fixed my mind. I decided I would not disappear from her life, no matter how hard it got. Amara listened, heart aching. People ask me why I don't chase big money, he continued. I tell them, my biggest wealth is this girl. If I lose her joy while chasing money, what did I gain? She thought of her empire, her towers, her offices full of people who respected her success but didn't know her favorite food, her fears, her dreams, or her pain. She suddenly realized something sharp and painful. Darius, who sometimes struggled to pay his rent, was richer in the place that mattered most, his heart. That night, when she finally returned to her marble-filled mansion, she didn't switch on the giant TV. She didn't open her laptop. She just sat in the silence and let the emptiness press in. Then she did something she barely ever did. She cried, not loud, not dramatic, just quiet tears slipping down her cheeks as she whispered into the emptiness. I'm tired of being alone. She wiped her face angrily. You are Amara Solade, she told herself. You have everything. Stop crying. But a gentle voice from memory whispered back in Darius's tone. Rain beats everybody equally. Pain beats everybody equally, too. For the first time, she wondered if there was a way for her to have what Darius had. Simple joy, warmth, a small home full of laughter, without losing herself. She didn't know it yet, but her heart was already changing, slowly, quietly, being fixed, not by wealth, not by power, but by honest kindness and a child's small hand holding hers. One Saturday morning, Darius invited Amara to his house for the first time. It's small, he warned nervously. Don't expect those big chandeliers you rich people like. I like peace more than chandeliers, she replied softly. His house was in a modest compound, one of those places where neighbors greeted each other and children ran around without fear. The building's paint was fading, the staircase rails a little rusty. But there were flower pots in front of some doors and laughter floating in the air. Nia ran ahead of them, excited. Welcome to our mansion, she shouted, opening the door with both hands. The mansion was a one-bedroom apartment. The sitting room had a small sofa, a fan that turned lazily, a TV that had seen better days, and a table covered with crayons and papers. On one wall, Darius had stuck his best sketches and printed designs like a mini gallery. This is beautiful, Amara said, genuinely impressed. Manage it, he replied shyly. They spent the day cooking together. Darius cut vegetables, while Amara surprisingly allowed herself to be taught how to flip plantain in hot oil without burning it. Nia mixed juice, spilling half on the counter, then cleaning it while giggling. There was music playing from an old speaker. Their laughter mixed with it. Why are you smiling like that? Darius teased her at one point. Like what? She asked. Like somebody that just discovered suya for the first time. She shook her head, laughing. I don't remember the last time I felt this normal, she said. Normal is underrated, he replied. Later, They sat on the floor with plates of food balanced on a low stool. Nia leaned sleepily against Amara's side, and Amara's hand rested naturally around the girl's small shoulders. For a moment, she allowed herself to imagine this as her everyday life. Not the mansion, not the bodyguards, not the intimidating boardroom, just this. A small room, a kind man, a sleeping child. Her chest ached with a mix of happiness and fear. Someone somewhere was watching. 2 days later, it appeared online. A blurry photo of Amara carrying Nia on her hip outside the compound, with Darius standing close, their faces soft and relaxed. The headline was sharp. Amara listened, heart aching. "People ask me why I don't chase big money," he continued. "I tell them, my biggest wealth is this girl. If I lose her joy while chasing money, what did I gain?" She thought of her empire, her towers, her offices full of people who respected her success but didn't know her favorite food, her fears, her dreams, or her pain. She suddenly realized something sharp and painful. Darius, who sometimes struggled to pay his rent, was richer in the place that mattered most, his heart. That night, when she finally returned to her marble-filled mansion, she didn't switch on the giant TV. She didn't open her laptop. She just sat in the silence and let the emptiness press in. Then she did something she barely ever did. She cried, not loud, not dramatic, just quiet tears slipping down her cheeks as she whispered into the emptiness. "I'm tired of being alone." She wiped her face angrily. "You are Amara Solade," she told herself. "You have everything. Stop crying." But a gentle voice from memory whispered back in Darius's tone. "Rain beats everybody equally. Pain beats everybody equally, too." For the first time, she wondered if there was a way for her to have what Darius had. Simple joy, warmth, a small home full of laughter, without losing herself. She didn't know it yet, but her heart was already changing, slowly, quietly, being fixed not by wealth, not by power, but by honest kindness and a child's small hand holding hers. One Saturday morning, Darius invited Amara to his house for the first time. "It's small," he warned nervously. "Don't expect those big chandeliers you rich people like." "I like peace more than chandeliers," she replied softly. His house was in a modest compound, one of those places where neighbors greeted each other and children ran around without fear. The building's paint was fading, the staircase rails a little rusty. But there were flower pots in front of some doors and laughter floating in the air. Nia ran ahead of them, excited. "Welcome to our mansion," she shouted, opening the door with both hands. The mansion was a one-bedroom apartment. The sitting room had a small sofa, a fan that turned lazily, a TV that had seen better days, and a table covered with crayons and papers. On one wall, Darius had stuck his best sketches and printed designs like a mini gallery. "This is beautiful," Amara said, genuinely impressed. "Manage it," he replied shyly. They spent the day cooking together. Darius cut vegetables while Amara surprisingly allowed herself to be taught how to flip plantain in hot oil without burning it. Nia mixed juice, spilling half on the counter, then cleaning it while giggling. There was music playing from an old speaker. Their laughter mixed with it. "Why are you smiling like that?" Darius teased her at one point. "Like what?" she asked. "Like somebody that just discovered suya for the first time." She shook her head, laughing. "I don't remember the last time I felt this normal," she said. "Normal is underrated," he replied. Later, they sat on the floor with plates of food balanced on a low stool. Nia leaned sleepily against Amara's side, and Amara's hand rested naturally around the girl's small shoulders. For a moment, she allowed herself to imagine this as her everyday life. Not the mansion, not the bodyguards, not the intimidating boardroom, just this. A small room, a kind man, a sleeping child. Her chest ached with a mix of happiness and fear. Someone somewhere was watching. 2 days later, it appeared online. A blurry photo of Amara carrying Nia on her hip outside the compound, with Darius standing close, their faces soft and relaxed. The headline was sharp. "Billionaire tech queen secretly dating poor single father." The article was full of half-truths and lies. It mentioned the street, the school, the compound, even dug out old pictures from Darius's social media. By lunchtime, the story had spread. Her board members called an emergency meeting. Investors sent emails asking for clarity. Some staff whispered in corners when she passed. When she entered the boardroom, the tension was thick. "Amara, we need to talk about this situation," one of the older board members began. "This relationship is not good publicity for us," another added. "This company's image is built on strength, independence, class. Being seen with some unknown, low-income man in a slum area. This can damage investor confidence. Amara's jaw tightened. She had faced aggressive investors, hostile competitors, and market crashes. But this felt personal in a different way. "Are you telling me who I'm allowed to spend time with?" she asked, her voice dangerously calm. "We're telling you that everything you do affects this company," one replied. "If you must help him, keep it quiet. Sponsor him from a distance. But public closeness? No." The word stung. Help him like he was a charity case. Like he had not given her more peace in weeks than her entire empire had in years. She left the meeting with a storm inside her. That evening, when she tried to visit the school, paparazzi were already hanging around. Cameras flashed the moment she stepped out of her car. "Miss Solade, who is he? Are you dating him? Is it true you're planning to adopt his daughter?" She felt trapped again. She got back into the car and told the driver, "Go now." For 3 days, she stayed away. No school stop, no visits, no calls. Her heart hurt every time she imagined Nia waiting and asking, "Daddy, where is Auntie Amara?" She almost picked up her phone many times, but fear and shame stopped her. "What if my world destroys theirs?" she thought. "What if being close to me puts them in danger?" Across the city in his small apartment, Darius saw the article too. He sat on the edge of his bed, phone in his hand, staring at the screen. Nia sat beside him, confused. "Daddy, why is Auntie Amara's picture on your phone?" He sighed. "Because some people don't know how to mind their business," he said quietly. "Did she do something bad?" Nia asked, worry in her eyes. "No, my love," he said, putting an arm around her. "She did something good. She chose to be our friend. But the world doesn't always like simple good things." When 3 days passed and Amara did not come, Nia cried herself to sleep. "Maybe she forgot us," she whispered. Darius held her close in the dark and whispered back, "People like her face many battles we don't see. If she can come, she will come." Deep down, he hoped she would. On the 4th day, someone knocked on his door in the evening. When he opened it, he saw her. No makeup, no perfect hair, no designer clothes, just Amara standing there with red eyes and a tired face. "Can I come in?" she asked, voice shaking. "Yes," he said quietly, stepping aside. Nia ran from the room, shrieking with joy. "Auntie Amara." Amara dropped to her knees and hugged the little girl so tightly, like she was trying to hug away the whole world. "I'm sorry," she whispered into Nia's hair. "I'm so sorry." Nia didn't understand everything, but she hugged her back anyway. Darius watched them, his heart heavy but calm. "We need to talk," he said gently. After a while, Amara stood, wiping her face. "Yes," she replied. "I think I need to decide what kind of life I really want." They sat at the small table in Darius's living room. The curtains were drawn. The fan hummed softly, and Nia had fallen asleep on the couch, clutching a stuffed teddy bear. Amara's hands trembled slightly as she wrapped them around a warm mug of tea. "I saw what they wrote about you," she began, guilt heavy in her voice. "About us? I'm so sorry. You didn't ask for this." Darius watched her quietly. "You didn't ask for it either," he replied. "I did," she said bitterly. "By being rich, by being visible. I know how they are. They twist everything. They make every friendship a scandal. And now they're saying you're using me, that you're after my money, that I'm being irresponsible, destroying my image." He noticed the way her shoulders shook as she spoke. "Are you afraid of losing your position?" he asked. She laughed without humor. "I built that company from scratch," she said. "But the truth is, no matter how powerful I seem, they can still push me out if they want to. They are already threatening my seat as CEO. They say I'm emotionally distracted, that a woman like me can't lead properly if she's in love." The last 2 words slipped out before she could stop them. Silence followed. He looked at her carefully. "In love?" Her eyes widened slightly, but she didn't take it back. "I don't even know what to call this," she whispered. "All I know is when I'm not here, my chest feels empty. When I think of you and Nia, I feel safe, seen, human. And that scares me because I'm not used to needing anyone." She lifted her head and met his eyes, tears shining. "I don't want to destroy your quiet life," she said. "Maybe I should walk away before my world swallows you and your daughter whole." Darius took a deep breath. Then he did something simple. He reached across the table and took her hands in both of his, firm, steady, warm. "Look at me," he said gently. She did. "Amara, listen very carefully," he began, his voice low but strong. "You are not a problem that happened to us. You are a blessing that entered this house. Since you came," Nia has laughed louder, "I have slept better. Not because of your money, but because you brought yourself here. Your real self. The one who sits on the floor and helps with homework. The one who burns plantain and laughs about it. The one who listens when I talk. Her lips trembled. He continued, the world only knows how to measure money and status. They don't know how to measure peace, joy, healing. The fact that you come here and breathe differently is more important to me than any headline. My reputation, he said, squeezing her hands gently, is that I am a man who loves his daughter and respects people. That's enough for me. She shook her head, tears spilling freely now. You could lose clients, she whispered. He smiled sadly. Clients come and go. But how many chances do we get in life to love honestly? To choose the people who make our souls rest? Her heart ached at his words. She had made so many deals in her life, signed so many contracts, calculated so many risks, but she had never heard anyone speak of love like that, as something worth more than their own comfort. Then he did the simple act that fixed her heart completely. He stood up, walked around the table, and knelt beside her chair, not in some dramatic romantic gesture, but in quiet, steady support. He gently rested her head against his chest and wrapped his arms around her. No board, he said softly. No investors, no cameras, no headlines. Right now it's just you, just me, just Nia. And I am choosing you. Not your money, not your company. You. She broke. Not in a loud way. In a deep way. Her body shook as she cried into his shirt, decades of loneliness and fear loosening from where they had been trapped inside her. Nobody had ever held her like this. Not like she was fragile and strong at the same time. Not like her tears were not weakness, but proof that she was still human. You are allowed to be loved, Amara, he whispered. You are allowed to be soft somewhere. You are allowed to need people. Your heart is not a machine. It's a heart, and it deserves rest. Those words went straight into the cracked places inside her. His hug, his steady heartbeat in her ear, his refusal to treat her like a trophy or a scandal. That was the simple act. Not glamorous, not flashy, just a man holding a woman and telling her she was allowed to be human. From that day, her heart was never the same. The scandal didn't disappear overnight. There were still harsh comments, bored arguments, and tense emails. Some investors left. People gossiped. But something had changed inside Amara. In the next board meeting, when someone mentioned her poor boyfriend with a mocking tone, she looked the man straight in the eye and said calmly, "His name is Darius. He is a good father, a brilliant designer, and a better human being than anyone who judges others by their bank account. If my connection with him makes you doubt my ability to lead, you're free to withdraw your investment. I will not abandon the first honest joy I've had in years to protect the comfort of people who don't care if I cry myself to sleep." The room went silent. Some resigned, others stayed. New investors came later, drawn by her courage and the strong new brand message she built, Tech with Heart. She quietly brought Darius into her world, not as a trophy, but as a partner. She supported his design business, not by throwing money at him, but by opening doors and letting his work speak for itself. Soon, he had a small studio, a small team, and clients who respected him. Nia grew, always referring to Amara as my bonus mummy. On rainy days, they would sometimes stand together by the window of Amara's mansion, now full of laughter and life, and watch the drops fall. One day, Nia asked, "Mummy Amara, what are you thinking about?" Amara smiled and hugged her close. "I'm thinking about the rain," she said, "and how one simple umbrella changed my life." Darius walked in, holding the same old umbrella they had kept all those years, now a little bent, but still whole. He winked at her. Some simple acts are really not simple at all. She looked at him, at Nia, at their small family that had grown from one moment of kindness. Her vast fortune had given her houses, cars, power, and respect. But a single dad with one simple act had given her something money could never buy: a healed heart, a real home, and a love that let her remain powerful without pretending to be unbreakable. And this time, rain or shine, she knew she would never face the storm alone again. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And tell us where you are watching from if this story touched your heart.